might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Tonight is Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. I am your host of the show, Tech Coach Ralph. This is Q&A night. We are going to have some fun. We're going to get into some questions. We are going to do what we do. Sometimes you have a little bit of technical difficulties. Let me fix something really quick. Let's see, why can't we connect to this? Let's see here. We got to always something, right, guys? What is my IP? Let's see, network. Just got started and we are already struggling. But we can fix it. That's what we do here. We fix things. We make things whole. All right, it is, let's see, what is this IP? Oh, how'd that happen? Okay. Hopefully we don't have any issues with this tonight, but we are on a different, network today. I have two networks and somehow I'm on a different one. So let's get this soundboard up and running. And guess what? We are up and running. We are good to go. And already in the chat, we have my good friend, Mitch. Mitch says, yo, what's going on, Mitch? How are you doing? Hey, Mitch, you guys, I tell you, you guys are a bunch of snitches over there. I was watching the show yesterday on playback because I couldn't make it. I'm like, everyone's like, oh, that was Ralph. Like, y'all ain't have to say nothing. Anyways, it is all good. It is all good. Like I said, if you don't know who I am, this is Tech Coach Ralph, where, as always, we are engineered to win. All right. So let's jump into it. Got a bunch of stuff to do, a bunch of things going on. This is a long week already, right? We are wrapping up a sprint. Got Scrum Day on Thursday, and got a lot of things to do. So we're going to go through our agenda, get into our questions, have some fun tonight, and relax. You know how we do on Tuesday nights. We're gonna answer some serious questions, but we're gonna have some fun doing it. All of that good stuff. All right. So with that being said, let's jump into our agenda for tonight. So first and foremost, as I always love to do, I want to say thank you to all of the newest subscribers, as well as to all of the subscribers who've been with me for a while, who communicate with me on a regular basis, give me ideas, and I share ideas back with them. Just the support is so great, and I just love interacting and connecting with you all. So shout out to all of the subscribers.
I appreciate you.
I really do appreciate you. All right. And I always have to give a shout out to the Patreon members, the Tech Barbarians, the Tech Prodigies, and the Technical Explorers. We are always looking for ways to strategize and to keep growing. I think it's going to be at the end of this month that we're going to be doing a live stream, which is a Patreon exclusive live stream that we're going to be, I'm going to be sharing and introducing how to get into the agile methodology, things like that. So stay tuned for that. More details as we come close, but that is for Patreon members only. Any level of Patreon member you can join, and we can have that conversation. So that is what I wanted to put out there. And as well, shout out to the channel members, the tech mercenaries who are supporting me. And, we have some fun. So definitely something for everyone. Check something out. Like there's something that's for you. Okay. So with that being said, let's just jump right into our live show schedule. So live shows, Sunday afternoons, software explorations. We are working on Terraform. This past Sunday, we were doing MongoDB, and we're able to get MongoDB set up with Terraform. It was really cool, very fun experience. This coming Sunday, we're going to be using Terraform to set up the serverless MongoDB to support our Poopy Pants app, which is a quote app from it gives you like David Goggins quotes and stuff like that. Maybe when we're done with the project, we can go over the infrastructure and the architecture behind it. But that is what we're working on Sundays. Tuesday nights, we have Q&A, like tonight, Q&A, where you have questions, I have answers. You can call into the show. You don't have to be on camera. You can ask questions in the chat, as well as I can source questions as well. So whatever it is, I'm here to answer your questions, whatever that question might be, and I'll do my best to answer your question. And if I don't answer it, then I will find an answer for you, even if it's not tonight. All right. And then we have Thursday nights. We have more software explorations where we are focused more on QA right now. The past 2 Thursdays, we were trying out the Netflix safe test, but to me, at least, that was a major bust. I did find a YouTube channel who was implementing it, and they did get it to work after some struggle, but I just wasn't that patient to go through all that headache. But they as I was watching going through their video, they were having the same exact struggles and the same exact thoughts that I had. Like, why would you do it like that? What's going on here? But it's how we learn and it's how we explore. So it was great to see that someone was able to get it to work and was able to show the audience a little bit something about that. All right. So but this coming Thursday, we're going back to working what we've been working on before that. We are working on the free mind recovery, which, talking to Jared from Calculus Coder, there are some great updates that are coming out to that for free mind recovery. He will be sharing it sometime in the future, but I think that's going to be amazing, an amazing transition that's happening on that site. And we are going to be able to do some more work on that site because, just because, right? You'll see when the time comes, right? And then we have the morning shows. Right now, I'm just going to announce Mondays and Wednesdays until I figure out Fridays. We have Coffee and Kata, where we discuss some news topics, as well as we're working on Flutter in the morning. So tomorrow morning, we're going to be trying to add some enhancements. We're going to be working on trying to add an alert dialog box so that when you enter a value that is out of bounds, that we can get an alert saying, hey, that's not good. This is what you have to do, and we can go from there. It was a suggestion by somebody who was doing the beta testing. So, we do work here. Everything that we do here is work. So that is our goal, is for us as a group to level up, because we are tech barbarians. We are technical explorers. We are tech prodigy members. We are tech mercenaries. We do not miss. All right. So that is our live show schedule. Let me just run through it really quick, right? Sunday afternoons, software explorations. We're going through Terraform. Tuesday nights Q&A, Thursday night software explorations. We're doing QA automation, and then the morning shows Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:15 a.m. We have coffee and kata, where we have a cup of coffee, we review some news articles, and we work on our Flutter mobile development. All right, so shout out to the live shows. All right, let's jump into our pre-recorded content. We have Monday's Candid Conversations. This past Monday, it was a good one. What did we talk about this past Monday? It was, I don't even remember what it was. Like, yeah, I know it was good, but I don't even remember. There's so much content that comes out on this channel. I got to pull it up myself to see what exactly we were talking about on Monday. All right, let's see here. It was about, and that was just yesterday. You see, my mind is all over the place, right? It was my number one secret for success in tech. That is I think if you are struggling to either you're in tech or trying to get in tech, adopting that mentality, that number one, like that one little thing can make a major difference in, like, maybe you're not getting interviews, maybe you're getting interviews, but then they're rejecting you afterwards. Maybe you're having a hard time at work, right? I think that applying that one little shift in mindset, that one little strategy, that's going to make a major difference in your life. So I would definitely suggest that you go check the video out and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I might be totally off. I'm open. I'm always open to your suggestion, to your feedback, and we can go from there. But definitely check that video out. Candid Conversations. It's on the channel. I'll even drop it in the chat for you as well. Right? I'll do you that favor because sometimes, like, when you mention it on the live stream, you forget. But if I drop it in the chat, maybe, just maybe, that will. Oh my goodness, what's going on here? Someone came back to work off vacation. We'll address that in a little bit because I might have to turn I might have competing bots tonight. So we shall see. All right. So with that being said, that is on Monday's Candid Conversations. We were talking about success in tech. And then we have Wednesday, software explorations. This coming Wednesday, we're going to be talking about risk management, the R in GRC, governance, risk management, and compliance. We're going to be talking about risk management tomorrow. You definitely want to tune in for that as we go through our GRC series. I've been learning so much on there. I hope you have been as well. And then Fridays, we have the Bug Bite, where we talk about different industry-related bugs and just tech news in general, right? This coming Friday on the Bug Bite, we're going to be talking about salaries of cybersecurity professionals and how you can get to that upper echelon of the cybersecurity salaries, right? So definitely want to tune in, something for everyone. And then throughout the week, we have shorts. We have additional content throughout the week. We have clips from the Q&A show, clips from this show that we have dropping throughout the week, as well as, sometimes I just feel a little froggy and I say, hey, I'm going to drop another clip, right? So I dropped the clip right before this show started, where we were talking about what I think is the most essential skill that you need as a QA engineer, QA tester, as that, whatever it is. I think that's the top, right? You might say, oh, we need to know how to write really good test cases, or we need to know how to work towards the requirements and all that stuff. I think this is what you really need, right? So you can level up your skills, and so you can be an amazing QA, and you can reach great heights, right? So check out that video. I just released it. The most important skill QAs need to learn in 2024. Highly recommend you checking that out. All right. So like I said, we have videos dropping every single day, whether it's a short, whether it's a clip, whether it's a clip from the break times, right? Something every day, right? So definitely want to check that out. All right. So that is that. All right. So see, here's what happens now. Now that we have another bot, we have competing interests tonight. So I'm gonna have to. Oh my goodness, I don't even know what to do. Let's have to shut one down, right? Because now we have these bots who are gonna be fighting each other. Battle of the bots tonight. We can't have that happening. Let's go shut one down. Let's see. I don't even know if we shut down the new bot or the old bot. Let's see. Let's go with. I think I'm going to give this new bot the night off tonight. Although it has, I don't know. It's a tough one. We're gonna go with the old one, or we'll just leave both. Let them fight it out. Let them fight it out because it's like because if I go and shut down the old bot, right, or if I shut down the new bot, what's gonna happen is this is what's gonna happen, Mitch. Follow me here, right? It's like you're in a relationship and now you get dumped and then you start moving on and now it comes back to you like, oh, I was wrong and stuff, and now you're torn between the two. And I'm like, we're just gonna keep both bots, right? You guys are gonna have to work it out. I'm polybot right now, all right? So it is what it is. It is what it is, all right? So let's get to it. All right. Let's get back to our agenda. Got a little sidetrack right there. Okay, let's just jump right into. All right, so I'm gonna drop 2 links real quick, or maybe 3 links. I don't know. Let's do that. Right. So first link, Sox University is up and running. Let me find the link I'm looking for that. Gotta save that link. All right. So Sox University is up and running. I mentioned it the other day. It's helping a lot of people get more familiar with cybersecurity and getting some hands-on practical experience. Think about it, and I would say if you were to go through Sox University and then you go into a boot camp or something like that, you're gonna feel a lot more confident approaching it because the way that Sox University is not a boot camp, but it will help you level up your skills. All right. So just letting you know, I'm going to drop the link to Sox University in case you are interested in leveling up your skills. All right. So there goes Sox University. And then I'm going to drop the link to Chaos Camp so you can get some, sometimes you need some challenges for my QA people, for my development people. You need to work on some challenges. You need some projects. You need to enhance your thinking and so it's gonna help you with your critical thinking skills, figuring out these challenges, right? So check out Chaos Camp. Embrace the chaos. I love chaos. And lastly, if you need a group of people who are going in the same direction that you are, it's a nonprofit called Grammar Hub. They do meetings every Monday. I was able to join a little bit yesterday in their meeting, talking about yesterday was the first Monday. So they were doing what were they doing yesterday? I think it was the Learn series yesterday, right? And they review resumes, they do mock interviews, a whole bunch of good stuff, and a great place to network. They can put you on a project if you're just getting started, just great people to connect with. So I would highly suggest you go and check out the Grammar Hub Discord, join in on the fun and start learning today. And, they've helped people get jobs, so in tech. So definitely want to check that out. That is the last link that I am dropping before we get started tonight. All right. So check out Grammar Hub. Let them know that Tech Coach Ralph sent you. All right, here we are. So let's go to the chat real quick and then we're going to jump straight into our questions. Okay. So Mitch says, we all family. They thought it was me, so I had to let them know the truth. That's hilarious. I was watching. I couldn't make it yesterday morning, and then I saw it. I left him a comment on the video, and I was like, "Oh snap! He does have hair." And then I see you guys. That was rough. I'm like, dang, that's messed up. Because I mean, if I was there, I would have said, yeah, it was me. But I mean, you guys can let me say it was me. Y'all gotta rat me out like that. But it's all good. It is all good. Let's see. All right, let's go to which says, I'm listening. Spinning the block. We not doing that. Oh my goodness. These bots are going crazy. And then we have Darcel Chapman in the chat. Says, just tuned in. How's it going? I am doing wonderful. I'm having a battle of the bots in my chat right now. I'm actually gonna shut one of them down because they are going crazy over there. Like one of them was on vacation for a month and now just came back. Now that I hired, as soon as I hire a new bot, right? Then the old one wants to come back and it's like, hey, I was like, I put in PTO. I never got that PTO request. And you know how it is out here. See, now they're just going crazy with one another. So this is not what we're doing tonight. All right. So I don't know. Let me say goodbye. We're gonna. I don't know which one to shut down. Let's shut down the other one. The other one. For now, we're gonna say. Heart. All right. So. I feel so bad. I kicked the new one to the curb for now, but I can always call it back. I'm like, hey, I need you to come back to work. All right. I need you to come back to work. Anyways. All right. Cool. So let's get into it tonight. Right. Let's get into our questions. We have about 8 questions plus whatever we get from the chat. If anyone wants to call in, feel free to call in. The link is posted to the top of the chat as well as in the description. So, and you don't have to be on camera. We can just have a conversation. Your voice will be on camera, although you can't really see your voice. You can hear your voice, right? So that's the plan. All right. So if you haven't done so yet, do me a favor, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every time that we go live or drop new content. And trust me, we drop a lot of content. All right. Something like and it's to help you learn. A lot of you guys are trying to transition into tech, or you're just getting to or into QA, into software development. You're just getting started. So I'm just dropping out all this content and you can digest it as you need. You might not need everything, but there's something that's going to be helpful to you. So tune in and join the fun. All right. And lastly, if you need one-on-one coaching with me, go over to www.techcoachralph.dev, where you can sign up for one-on-one coaching as well as get access to exclusive content and exclusive live streams and meetings where we go to level up our skills. All right. So just throwing all of that out there, and we're going to get into it. The show format. I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock, like you're going to see right now. 5 minutes on the clock. And when the timer runs out, you will hear a little sound like, and then we will be wrapping up that question soon before we get to our next question. All right. So that is the plan for tonight. And any questions, just let me know. And Mitch says, grass isn't always greener. That's a fact, though. That is a fact. We'll see, Mitch, because like this is the second time that the main bot has just disappeared on me, and at some point, I am not going back. All right, so just letting you know. All right. Enough fun. It's never enough fun, but you know what I mean. Let's get into the questions for tonight. All right. So let's get started with our first question for tonight.
Another one.
The first question tonight is, my whole family laughed at my failing business in a car ride home from dinner. Before we even start reading the details, I hope you are driving this car, right? I hope you're driving, because if I was driving, okay. So it says, my sister started talking about money. Oh, talking about money.
Money.
And brought up my failing business that I've been spending all my time and energy on these last 5 months with very minimal results. She brought it up, and my mom, dad, and her were laughing in my face. Not cool. I put my effing all into this business, and I want it to succeed so effing badly. When she brought that up without knowing how many hours I've put into it, it effing crushed my soul. My soul, just that deep down into my soul, it just crushed it. I blocked her number, went to my room, and just got done crying for the past hour. Aww. That sucks to hear. I feel like such a effing amateur right now. I cannot wait to look back on this moment when I reach a point of success to prove that it isn't a failing business and show them I actually know what the F I'm doing. Does anyone have a similar story? I'd love to hear from them. So that's the first question. And let's start our timer, right? So, do not have a similar story. I am not going to come down into the ball pit of misery with you. However, I will say, I do hope that you were driving, right? Because I would have kicked all their out, right? I thought you guys can walk, get an Uber, whatever. But if you aren't driving and if you don't own a car, then you can't do what I just said. It does suck. But here's the thing. It's only 5 months. Like, how long do you guys think a business takes to get up and running to last? Like, it takes a long time, right? So here's what you got to understand. A lot of people, they don't know anything, right? I always say this to a couple of my friends, right? 99.98726% of the population, they don't know much, right? And they can't think past tomorrow, right? So you have a vision. I don't know what your business is. It might suck. I don't know, right? It might suck, but you're working towards it. If you believe in it, then keep at it. And you cannot let the negativity of other people stop you, bring you down, crush your spirit, like crying over what someone said to you. And this is why I don't like. I've had a few kind of conversations, videos about this, right? I don't care, right? I don't care. I'm gonna do what I have to do regardless, right? And it can be and here's the difference, right? It can be disappointing when you're doing what you have to do, but other people aren't doing what they have to do, right? But I've like my whole life I've been I've been working on different things, just pushing forward, going for growth, right? And when people don't do their part, yes, it sucks, but I don't let what other people do stop me, right? It can be discouraging because, okay, now I have to take this on, but guess what? You're fired, right? I'm like, okay, and that's one of the reasons, right? Which I do plan on making a kind of conversation video about this, but it's hard to because it's hard to gather the thoughts on this. But I don't believe in collectivism and groupthink and stuff like that. Can I work with a group? Of course. Like I work on the Scrum team and stuff like that. We come together, we do what we have to do, but we still have our individual responsibilities and we're able to help each other out and stuff like that. But I don't participate in like, everyone's like I'm responsible for everyone and stuff and everyone's responsible for me. No, I don't think like that. So when you have people who like, even if it's your family, right? Even if it's your family, I don't care. They can laugh at you. And guess what? Like you probably did. You did the proper thing. You blocked her. And you do not need to be around people who don't support you. Right. And there's one thing about providing advice and criticism. Like feedback. I welcome all of that. Right. But when they're going to be laughing about the things that you are working so hard for, you don't need them. Right now, I don't know if you live in their house or something like that, because you said you went to your room and you cried, but whatever, you're gonna have to figure it out. You're gonna have to make it, but it's just not it's not the right environment. And I honestly I wouldn't even waste my time crying over spoiled milk. And guess what? They're the spoiled milk, right? So it's a hard, I don't know how old you are, but it's better that you learn this early and you start to get over it now, and you start becoming like, for lack of a better word, you become cold, right? People think, oh, you have to be, like your emotions and stuff like that. I'm not saying that you don't have this is a quote from the book Winning, right? And Mitch, you could back me up on this, right? I think it's from winning. It's either winning. I think it's winning. It's either winning or relentless, right? But you don't become emotionless. You just use your emotions less, right? For whatever I'm doing, and I'll tell you a quick story, right? And this is a personal story. What I built my first website using Microsoft Front Page back in like 20 like 2003, something like that. And I made it, and it was I made it, and I was like, oh wow, I made a website and everything like that. I showed it to my dad. He's like, that looks terrible. Everyone else was telling me like, oh, that looks it looks good, it looks good, right? But most of them never like really saw a website built before and stuff like that. But my dad was like, oh, that looks terrible. And I was at first I was like, oh, really? I was like this. I was like this. I was like, but that helped me because he was like, yeah, that doesn't look good. And then now I can create really nice looking websites and stuff like that, right? So it's using like whatever you get, right? Use it as criticism. Use it as fuel. I don't let what people say to me or do to me or anything like that take me off track. I'm focused, and that's why one of my goals for 2024 was to focus. You have to focus, have your goals clear, and know how you're going to accomplish them. Whatever people do, say, whatever. You just got to go out there and get it. All right. Okay. So that is that question. Let's wrap that one up. All right, let's go to the chat. So we have, all right, so Mitch says, they think they can do what they want because they've been around for a long time. Enough of jokes now. Which is, that sucks. Use it for motivation. Like I say, keep swimming. Exactly. We are all amateurs at some. Yeah, exactly. We're all like, and it's only been 5 months, right, Mitch? It's only been 5 months, right? And Andrew Allen says, you always say, Mitch, that story. We all watch Finding Nemo. I don't understand. I'm not sure what Andrew's saying either. What's up, Andrew? How you doing, man? Good to see you tonight. And Darcel says, listen to constructive criticism from people who were in your position, not others who have no idea what you're doing. Facts, right? Fact. Message. Just keep pushing and let their negativity go through one ear and out of the other. And I'll even say this, right? Because sometimes I like when the negativity comes in, I just block it, right? I just leave it in the ear because I'm like, okay, cool. Because now I'm going to hear that negativity and that's going to make me work harder. And you are on my list, right? If you ever heard some of like David Goggins like speeches or interviews and stuff like that, he talks about like how he'll create a playlist of all the negativity, right? Of all the negativity that people send to him and stuff like that. And he uses that, he listens to that on his runs, right? So when he's running 250 miles, he's listening to those people who are negative to him. And that is the driving fuel. Some people are like, oh, positivity. I have no problem using people's negativity as my source of energy and my source of fuel. It just depends. All right. And it's all right. So it says, okay, Mitch figured it out. So he says, he's saying, I stole a quote from Finding Nemo. See, I haven't watched Finding Nemo in forever. I'm guessing my son is getting almost the age to watch Finding Nemo, so maybe I'll have to revisit it. But thank you guys for clearing that up. Andrew, what's up? Andrew, if you want to come up, click on the link in the top of the chat, and we can hang out. All right. So yeah, I did now. Just keep swimming. Is Dory from Finding? Yeah, that's funny. All right, awesome, guys. All right, let's jump into the next question. Awesome. So such awesome insight from everyone in the chat. I love it. All right. Okay, next question.
Another one.
And Andrew can definitely help with this one too, right? What are some exciting and extraordinary tools that you are using as QA? I'm not looking for suggestions like Jira or ALM, something new and unheard of. Okay, cool. So as QA, we are start the clock. So I use a lot of different libraries and packages and stuff like that it's just for whatever language that I'm working in. So for instance, let's talk about I'll talk about Java first, right? So of course, Selenium, Test and G, but I really liked using Rest Assured when I was doing QA testing and automation using Java. Rest Assured was the API testing framework that I implemented into the framework to test APIs, and it was really good, really fun. And then also being able to implement Google APIs into the framework where I could use Google Sheets as a data provider, so I can have my data totally externalized. So that was another cool and extraordinary tool. If we jump over to and using like extent reports, like just different things that you find and you piece together, right? If I jump over to Python now, I would say the M3U8 parser, because I work in the video streaming industry as a senior QA engineer. So figuring out which was a totally new domain for me, like last year, figuring out how to test, just video encoding, video playback, and stuff like that. So using the M3U8 parser, that was a cool one. And that way, like, if you're not familiar with M3U8 and like with video streaming, HLS segments and stuff like that, I have a video on the channel that you should definitely go and check out to get an idea of how it works, where I'm actually going through, I think I used the website Flow Grappling, and I was able to parse their manifest and stuff, do some really cool stuff, right? But you're able to get that data, validate video playback works and stuff like that, right? There is also I really like Behave, right? Behave is the Cucumber version for Python. Today I was writing some tests in like some automation tests for some work that we were doing, and I was able to do it so fast because when using Cucumber or Behave and stuff like that, most of the tests are already written, and it's like you just have to like start taking the steps over and stuff like that. And then I just had to do a minimal amount of additional code to get it to work, and it worked beautifully. So that's another tool. Then there's like Team City and stuff like that. There is I like Report Portal to report on our testing metrics, and it has a bit of AI or not, maybe not AI, but it has like machine learning in there to understand the trends, identify flaky tests to try to figure out why a test failed and stuff like that. So, let me see what other tools that are there. I mean, a lot of times it's as you're needing to build something, then you do research to find what you need, right? If I think about Flutter, right? So that's like I started learning Flutter maybe like 2 months ago. And I wanted to do it using test-driven development. So learning how to do the widget test, learning how to find packages and stuff like that. So many so many like there's endless amount of tools that you can use, and then working with like Don, right, with from Chaos Camp, just exposure to how do we test audio, right? How do you test like audio stuff? How do you test video stuff? How do you test AI? And then like on Wednesdays, we are doing not Wednesdays. What I'm talking about Wednesdays, not Wednesdays, but on Thursdays, all the different frameworks that we're using for automating free mind recovery from not TypeScript. We're doing it through TypeScript, but we're using Selenium WebDriver. We're doing Cypress. We're doing Playwright, and as we have needs at the time, and that's the thing about like software engineering, about QA and stuff like that, right? There is no there's not just one thing at one time. Like you're all like as you keep moving forward. Like I can't, like I've forgotten more tools than most people have used, right? Because I'm always like looking for new tools that we need to build stuff because that's how you figure out that's how you solve problems. That's how you solve needs, all right? So like and I just rattled off a bunch of different tools and I was like it just depends on what your needs are, right? So let's say you are oh, and another quick tool, right? Um there is the environment marker, which I have that on my computer at work, and when I'm sharing my screen, sometimes the engineers or other QAs like, "Oh my goodness, what's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's just this little plugin called environment marker where it lets you know if you're in prod, or if you're in like staging or if you're in development, whatever." So it's just little tools here and there that you just find it through research, you know. So definitely, and I even showed that on the channel on a Sunday, I believe it was. So you know, just different things all around, and maybe I'll start to like either on Sundays or on Thursdays show different tools that I'm using, different things that I found as I find them, you know. So definitely something to do. All right, so let's wrap that one up. That was a great question. I love those type of questions, which get a lot more technical and a lot more creative, you know. So shout out to that question. And Andrew said, not tonight. Your boy is getting over a cold, just hopping on for. Thank you for being here, Andrew. And I do hope you feel better. Hope you feel better, man. And I hope to get you up here soon so we can hang out again. Because last time we had tons and tons of fun. All right. So let's put the timer up for the next question. And let's jump to the next question for tonight. But before we do that, if you haven't done so already, do me a huge favor. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every single time that we go live and drop new content, all right? And a question for Darcel in the chat. Darcel, real quick. What are you in tech? What industry? I don't know if we ever spoken before, but let me know what industry you're in. Are you in tech? Are you like software developer, QA? Let me know. I'm just curious to learn a little bit more about you and we can connect. Mitch is a great resource moving towards data analytics. Is it data analytics, Mitch, is what you're moving towards too? But yeah, like so many great resources. I just love collaborating, connecting, and seeing how we can help each other. So that's why I'm asking. All right. Okay, let's jump to our next question for real now. All right, let's go.
Another one.
How did you gain experience in test automation? So I have experience with Python and I am interested in getting a career in QA/test automation. So I wanted to learn Selenium now. I'm studying the QA concept and methodologies as well. How did you guys practice and improve your test automation skills? Did you practice testing on dummy websites or your own web app and then test that? Also, testing APIs via request and Postman. I want to show that I am developing my skills and put it on my GitHub and my resume, but I don't know what I should do. You, my friend, are in a very, very interesting conundrum. Oh, okay. Yeah. Now, okay. Yeah. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you. That makes sense. Because that name did sound familiar. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Let me not get distracted. Let's start the clock, right? Start the clock. So, okay. So how did I get started? How did I get an experience in test automation? So my story is a little different than most people, right? Because I was so if we take it all the way back, right? I need to get a back in time sound, right? But I started working in tech support back in like 2005, right? Yes, I'm old, right? But from tech support, I was recruited to do web design, right? And then after 2008 happened and everything like that, people got laid off. I ended up getting a job in QA, right? But throughout that time that I was throughout that time, I was still like learning on my own, figuring to like just troubleshooting, JavaScript troubleshooting. What was that other? What's that other language? Not Python. PHP, troubleshooting PHP stuff, learning about WordPress, learning about Joomla. Built a learning platform for somebody. Not built it, but like implemented the layout for it. Doing a bunch of MySpace custom pages and stuff like that. So many different things that we were doing, and then I got a job in QA, and I was doing like writing test plans, test cases, and stuff like that. It was mainly manual QA and doing like writing defects and stuff like that. But I used everything that I learned while I was unemployed and while I was working as a web designer and when I was in tech support and from things that I learned in school about like DNS and emails and stuff like that. So all of that stuff came together. So now when I'm writing defects and stuff, I'm able to troubleshoot and I'm able to look into like the JavaScript, why things are failing and stuff like that, which eventually led to when we started getting the need for automation. The company that I was working for, they didn't really know any better because nobody over there knew about automation. So they hired somebody to use the software. HP's at the time was Quick Test Professional. Now it's Unified Functional Testing. And it was a very expensive software, very clunky, very heavy. Like it was like $5,000 per license, right? Crazy. And the person that they hired, then they said, okay, we need another person to do it too. So they said, hey, Ralph, do you want to learn automation and you learn the software? I'm like, yeah, sure, of course. So that's how I got brought into it. And then as soon as I got into it, like a little bit after, the person they had hired to do it, they left. So then I was the only person doing it. So I was supporting that software for maybe 2 years. And we ended up having a need for like doing mobile web testing. So I started researching. Everything that I was finding was not a good option. And I stumbled across and it sounds crazy to say it now, but I stumbled across Selenium, and I started and I had no Java experience whatsoever. If you were to see the first automated test in Selenium that I wrote, you'd be like, what in the world is this? But I had the luxury of being able to working with the other software while transitioning the company to not even transitioning, figuring out the new software, and I built a team around that. And that is how I got into test automation. That's how I got into Selenium and test automation. But transitioning the company from Quick Test Professional to Selenium, figuring it out, all of that. Not only was I able to save the company at least 15 grand in different licensing fees for Quick Test Professional, we're also able to test a bunch of different mobile websites as well as all of the other websites that we were supporting. All right. So with that background, I didn't practice on dummy websites because I had real websites to transition to, and we built off a whole team, and that's how I really started learning how to get better with Java. At the same time, I was able to go on Udemy to get a better understanding of Java and learn Java a lot better. And then when I switched companies, that's where I really got into API testing. And this is what happened, right? I started at the new company, and I had to use Postman. And I used Postman, I did the API calls, and I said, this sucks. Doing this manually. I'm not going to do this manually. So I did some research and I said, oh, I can use Rest Assured to do these API testing and integrate it with the other API, with the other framework. So I was like, okay, let's do that. So then I ended up building I had the web automation, I had the API testing, all of that going together. So now we get to the part of you want to develop your skills and you want to put it on your GitHub, right? My recommendation would be to for your resume, putting projects on your resume, I don't think those that helps much. I would say try to find someone to connect with who's maybe they are maybe they're getting started in software development, right? And they're building something my thing is always build something that's going to be out to the public, that's going to have real users, so that it's something that's going to matter to who you're talking to. So on your resume, if I if I see on your resume, oh, projects, right? I'm like, okay, I don't care. But if you have on your resume experience, oh, we have this, we built this application that we have. Let's say you have 50 users on the application. That's to me that's great, right? And we have 50 users, and we're doing this, and I created the documentation. I have the automated test every time we have a new release. We have the regression test. I've been able to catch X amount of bugs. So for the people who are getting started, you shouldn't get started in QA in a silo, right? I would say find someone who's getting started in software engineering, software development, and team up with them, right? They need tests. They need to get their application tested, right? So you offer to test their application so you can get actual experience and make sure and you only do this with people who are actually working on building something that's gonna have real users, that's gonna be out to the public, all right? So that is how that is my best strategy for you to build real practical experience, because all those projects, they don't matter. And that's why a lot of people don't really care about them that much. And when I say a lot of people don't care about them, not the person who's looking at the resume, the person who's actually building it, right? You don't care about stuff that nobody's really going to see. But if you know that there's actually something on the line for what's being used, you're going to care a little bit more, right? So that's why I say team up with somebody who's actually building something. If you are able to build your own application, great. But if not, then team up with somebody and work together, collaborate. And now, and that person as well has on their resume, oh, I built this application, have 50 users. I have my unit test. I have a QA engineer who's testing this stuff. And that's why we're able to have a successful application. And the application in the future can also become its own thing, and you can make some money off of that as well, right? No. So we're always looking to build and to grow, okay? So hopefully that helped, all right? So now, I knew the name looked familiar. So shout out to Darcel for being here. Shout out to Joseph at Technichip and Trey with the good hair. And I'm going to clip that part up and I'm going to send it over to him. Trey with the good hair. All right. All right. And it says that's dope. I didn't know that. Yeah, it's been a long road, but I love every step of the way. It's all good. We'll talk about that more later. And it says, what are your thoughts on job hopping? So, I think that with job hopping, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, to be honest with you. You have to do. I'm always going to advocate for people to do what's in their best interest. Some people they like the stability and stuff like that, or they're some people are good, right? And I'll give an example for me, right? I only end up job hopping when things aren't gonna change, right? So if I'm making suggestions and recommendations and stuff like that, and it's like going in one ear and out the other, and like I'm ending up like shouldering all the burden and stuff like that, then I'm like, all right, maybe it's time for me to go. But another thing is job hopping is the new form of promotion, especially in tech, because like we mentioned the other day, you might get a yearly pay increase of like 3%, 4%, 5%. Doesn't really follow the like even inflation and stuff like that. But usually like when you go to another job, you might be looking at $10,000 to $15,000 raise and stuff like that. So it just depends on what you're looking for and stuff like that. Some companies, they might give you they might actually promote you and stuff like that. But even sometimes with the promotion that they give you, it's more work with and the pay that you're getting is not really that much where you can go to like you're saying, right? I think if you keep hopping to the same position, you aren't really learning anything. Yeah, I mean, it just depends, right? Because let's put it like this. If you were to let's say you're a web developer and you just hop from web developer to web developer to web developer, you might get some more money. but you might not really learn anything. But if you're hopping industries, let's say you say 3 years at one place, you go 3 years to another place, but you're like, let's say you're doing web and now you're going into some other, maybe video, maybe audio, maybe AI, something like that. It just depends. And let's say you're going to AI, you took initiative to like get ahead of the curve on AI, and now you can go to an AI company. You might be going over there as a software engineer, but you're probably going to get paid a lot more. Or let's say you're in like just maybe some e-commerce and you're getting paid X amount of dollars, but then you go to a software engineer for like some type of medical related industry, like maybe pharma or something like that, doing software engineers and stuff like that. So it just depends, like, because like let's say like those regulated industries, they can pay a lot more because they need to keep the people, versus like maybe an e-commerce company, they're like, we can, anybody we can get is gonna be good, you know. So yeah, it's that's how I see it, at least. Like I don't have any, I will always like, I am such a practical person that I will never be against what someone chooses to do, as long as it's going to help them level up and they're not going to be playing victim for everything. Like, for if something goes wrong, then it's also your fault. If things go right, it's your fault. If things go wrong, it's your fault. So you just have to be ready to deal with whatever consequences or rewards might come. So that's how I see it. But I will always be, I will never say like, oh no, you shouldn't do this, because I understand the company's perspective. I understand the individual's perspective. And we all, including companies and including people, have to do what's in their best interest, right? That's how I see it. And Mitch says, the raise he just got.
Money.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, all right? Okay. Let's get to our next question. Let's move it along.
Another one.
This one says, if I drop out of college, will I regret it as a 25, almost 26-year-old guy? My GPA is awful. It took me 4 years to get an associate's degree, and now post-vid, after 3 years of being misled by my university and the pandemic, and also much BS, I'm struggling to even find an internship and graduate. If I drop out in work, will I regret it? Well, that's a tough one. That is a tough one, right? So, start a timer. Should you stay in college and do something with your life? Or should you drop out and get a job? And regret is such a tough topic, right? You see, there you go, right? Question done, right? Just go to a boot camp. Tech Coach Ralph sponsors them. Yes, that's the only option, right? So here's the problem, right? Will you regret it? It depends on what type of job that you get, and I think that regret lives in the decisions that we make, right? And how we feel. So, for instance, you could drop out of college and you could become, I don't know, maybe you could do Uber driving, Lyft driving, DoorDash, Uber Eats. Maybe you can do the person who picks up scooters to get them charged around the city. Maybe, I don't know, like there's so many different things you could do. You could work as a barista. You could work maybe in a factory. You could work as a mechanic. I don't know. There's so many different things that you can do, right? I don't know. The only thing that I would say is don't come complaining in like 4 to 5 years if you are not happy, right? In like, and that's what the regret's gonna. That's when the regret comes in. When you're like, oh man, you look back, I should have did this, I should have done that, right? I think that the majority of people have regrets because they did not properly plan. They didn't work hard enough. They wanted to have fun, they wanted to have fun at 20 instead of working hard at 20 so they could have fun at 40, right? I think almost all of us have made that mistake, right? Including me, right? because we didn't know any better. We had no one to explain this to us about, especially like where I'm from, right? Um, we just didn't know, right? And now we are like seeing it like, oh man, we should have did this, and a lot of times it's not too late. But here's the problem. Here's the problem, right? And to go with what Mitch was saying about the boot camps, and this is something that my friend Jared from Calculus Coder says too. Um, he did a boot camp. He tried to be a self taught developer, and it was hard. He couldn't find a job, and then he went back to school, and then he was able to find a job, right? So it's when you ask would you regret it, it depends on you. But I think that as you go down, as you go down the road, you're gonna see like you're going to see that things are not as easy as it seems out there just to find a job because most people can't find a job in the first place, depending on what the job is. And the job that they do find, it's not a job that they actually want. So I would say you need to figure out first what it is that you want and why is your GPA awesome? Like why is your GPA awful and all these things? And are you making excuses? Right? What is your education in? What kind of internship are you trying to get? How does your resume look? Sometimes we need to restart and we need to put everything to the side and say, okay, I am going to be focused. I am going to be committed. And there is nothing that is going to get in my way, right? So by nothing, this is what I mean. It might be Friday night and you're a 25, 26-year-old guy, young. You want to go out and have fun and stuff like that. Your friends could call you up and say, hey, we're going over to this party and stuff like that. Do you want to go? Your answer has to be no, right? Because you are not where you want to be. And I believe if you are not where you want to be, there is nothing else that you should be doing until you get there, right? You have if you are behind, if you're needing to catch up, right? You need to like here's the thing. Here's the thing. I've spoken about PIPs before, right? Performance improvement plans. You need to put yourself on a performance improvement plan. Put yourself on a PIP, right? And when you put yourself on that PIP, you need to lay down a plan, a goal, and say, this is what I have to do, and this is when I have to get it done by. I have 90 days, 180 days, whatever it is. You set your PIP, and you go from there. You do not let anything stand in your way. And I would say, don't drop out. Still get a job. Don't take on any more loans and school loans and stuff like that. Get a job. Go. Make sure you're doing a major that's actually going to be worth something, right? And go from there. Will you regret it? There's a high possibility that you regret it because most people in life have regrets, right? I don't live in regrets, and I'm always looking for new opportunities to push forward. So, whatever your situation was yesterday, it does not have to be that today, right? And you can always move forward. As my good friend Marlo always says, the price of the brick is going up. The price that it was yesterday is not the price that it is today. And you can do better, okay? So stop making excuses, get off your butt and get back to work and prevent even having I don't want you to prevent having regret. I want you to prevent having the appearance of regret, right? Something that those people down there in Fulton County do not understand. But I'm sure they have a bunch of regret now. I digress, all right? I digress, right? So you might have regret, but let's try to prevent that. Let's work hard. Let's get to it, all right? So let's wrap that question up. All right. So Mitch says, yeah, we were using knives as screwdrivers. Yep. Love it. And then he says, it's these tech influencers making it seem so easy to get a job, not as easy as they make it seem. It's every single day I come across people like it's so funny, right? Because it's too funny. It's too funny. I can't help it. I can't help it. So like I'll see these tech influencers talking about like these boot camps and stuff like that. and then I'll see the people who go into these like I'll focus on QA, right? Because those are the ones that I know the most, right? Those are people who I talk to the most, and they'll say like, oh, I did this boot camp back in like 6 months ago, a year ago, and I still don't have anything yet. Trying like I'm applying, and then I'm like, let me see your resume, and then I see the resume, and it's an unhireable resume, right? So, and they think because the boot camp tells them that, oh, it's good, and it's so much. It's like it's a lot of work, and I told you I met with somebody who works with recruiters, and they said like most of these resumes that they come across, people coming from boot camps, it's like a 30-point gap between where the person is at and what they're actually looking for to hire. I don't know why the boot camps aren't addressing that, but it is what it is. And Mitch says, you'd be surprised what 3 months of focus can do. That's a fact, right? Like, and here's the crazy thing about that, right? The way that I structure these things, I'm working on Terraform. I'm working on mobile development. I'm working on like web development, working on QA, and I get so much done, although I'm live streaming it to get it done, but I'm getting so much done on so many different streams that like if I like without having this schedule, right, then I wouldn't get anything done. And that's adding to working a full-time job, right? Working a full-time job and still being able to strategically learn all these things in parallel, So it's it's definitely possible, especially with like college schedules, right? It's definitely possible. And I even say like I even recommend people like, hey, even in high school, you need to get started. Like honestly, even in middle school, maybe earlier, you need to start being put on a plan, on a path, right? To have success. So like when you get 20, you're not trying to have fun, but you can actually plan for the future. All right. And he says, yep. So we read that. And then it says, you keep throwing shots at ATL. I am not throwing shots at ATL, right? It's only at Fulton County. And their entanglements over there. And it says, what a lot of people don't realize, they get money from promoting these boot camps. Not saying it's bad. They're promoting them, but is it genuine? I heard from somebody that they were approached by by one of these influencer companies, and they're like, they pretty much wanted to take over the channel. They tell you what type of video to make, when to make it, how often to post it, and like it almost feels like a 360 deal, right? And it's I don't know, not making excuses, but for middle school, high school, they are too focused. Yeah, you're right. They it's just but here's the thing, Mitch. Like when we were growing up, right? We didn't have social media in high school. I mean, in high school, that's when Black Planet first came out when I was in high school, right? But I think when I was in ninth grade, maybe 10th grade. But before that, like middle school and stuff like that. But still, we didn't have like these ideas to do this type of stuff. It was just like I don't know, like when you were in middle school, high school, like what did you see as something you could do, like when you were older? Like the only thing I knew of was like, I don't know, computer science. Like, so what do you want to major in? I don't know, I had no idea what computer science was, right? So it's like, yeah, social media now, but what was the issue before that? We couldn't get pushed in the right direction. For me, I would say like I didn't have people who knew, right? In the schools that I went to and stuff like that, there was no light on what was possible for us, right? Like, and we just had to figure it out as we were going along. And now that we have figured it out, we're able to pass it along to other people. But the thing is, when you try to pass it along to younger people, you're right? I agree. Nothing. I wanted to be a rapper. But that's the thing. Like, so many of the youth nowadays, you're like, okay, let's get them into like at 13, 14, 15, 16. Let's get them into like, coding, into web development, into Python and stuff like that. And it's like, I want to play basketball. I'm like, well, you can still play basketball, but so I don't know. It's tough, but I would say something like you definitely want to consider for those who have kids as they're growing up as early as you can. Get them started to start instilling in them what the future holds. Watch the videos that I have on like QA. Watch the videos that I have on cybersecurity. Start getting your children at a young age to start having that in their mind so that they can still do the other things. They can still do their sports and stuff like that. But you need to have them start thinking about, you need to start instilling into their mind other skill sets so that once they get to like, I don't want you to be trying to figure out your career at 25. I want you to know what your career is going to be at 18. And you can start at 18 and then get to the education that you need to keep going. But you should have that majority of the education before you even graduate high school, right? So that's my thought about that. And it says, Ralph, if you start making bootcamp videos, I'm suing you for defamation. Hey, everyone's got a price, Mitch. Everyone's got a price. All right. All right. All right. Let's get to our next question. Enough chatter. All right. But before we do that, if you haven't done so already, do me a huge, huge favor. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every single time that we go live and drop new content. You know how we like to have fun here. We like to have a good time. So come and join us as we do all of that. All right. So let's get to our next question. Okay. Timer up. And the question is
Another one.
just finished school and I hate my job. Well, that's not good. I'm a 22-year-old female, just graduated my medical lab assistant course and was lucky enough to get hired immediately after school. However, after a month of working here, I absolutely hate it here. My mom says, welcome to adulthood, but I know this can't be it. This can't be life. See, I already know a bit about adulthood. I moved out at 17 and had a job I loved, cutting fruit and produce at an upscale grocery store. All right, let's that is not life, all right? Cutting fruit at a grocery store, at an upscale grocery store is not life. I paid my rent and utilities on time, and I sure didn't have much money left, but I was at peace. All right? My landlord raised the rent, and suddenly my pay wasn't enough. Welcome to adulthood. Plus, I missed my family, so I decided to move back home while I looked for a better job that was more of a career. All right, let's stop the cap. You did not miss your family. You couldn't afford to live on your own, so you moved back home, and you come on, and you're lucky they took you back. Anyways, all right, I digress. I digress. Right. That's how I became a medical assistant. I've always thought I loved the medical field. I was inspired by my mother and grandmother, who were both nurses, and I've always loved science. Fast forward now, I'm constantly anxious about going to work. My Sunday scares start on Friday. Do you work on Sunday? I cry a lot at home and at work. The pressure of making mistakes, dealing with angry customers. There's also never any acknowledgement or positive feedback. It's always negative. I'm just not motivated to do this at all. I wake up and started panicking on Saturday mornings because I've had a nightmare about work. I can't even use my brain toward any other task because I'm so consumed in how to improve for a job that I don't even like. See, learning in school is one thing, but being in the field is a whole other game. But now, don't get me wrong, I love working in a general sense. No, you don't. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Message.
But not in a career that I have no interest in. I enjoy writing big essays for fun. I'm an amazing cook, and I also love traveling and learning history. I went to a performing arts school for acting. I love music. I'm a creative girl, but it's like I've had chronic writer's block for the past 5 years. Damn, that is long. That's a very long writer's block. I don't even draw and paint the way I used to anymore. I'm not sure what career I could find with these criterias. None. That will actually pay me well enough to be able to retire young. None. have time for my future kids, and overall just live a simple, healthy lifestyle. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, my living situation is less than ideal. Verbally and mentally abusive family. I thought you missed your okay. And this is what happens when you are broke without a career, right? You use this thing, oh, I miss my family, but then later on, they're also verbally and mentally abusive, right? Anyways, I don't have a bed there, no freedom to go anywhere. I'm not even allowed to listen to music in the house. I want to move out, which I was hoping this job would allow me to do within a few months at least. God, let's start the clock. Right? Why did I leave this message? You see, Mitch, you are a bad influence on me. Anyways. As your mother said, welcome to adulthood. First and foremost, one of my favorite sayings, one of my mottos is nobody owes you anything. Here's a trip down memory lane again, right? As soon as my sister turned 18 and went off to college, my parents they moved out of the country, and my sister was in college. I had to move somewhere, and I had to figure it out on my own ever since then, right? So, it's life, right? When in 2008, when I was unemployed and money was getting scarce, I had to figure it out, right? So that's life. That is life, right? It's not even adulthood. It's life. Welcome to life, right? And here's the problem. You need skills in life. All right, this is mean, right? But I have to tell you the truth. I have a duty to, like, it's like liar, right? I have to tell you the truth, right? Value value in the marketplace, right? Is based on what you can do, what you can bring, what are your skills, what are your talents, right? If you think that other people should value you just because you are alive, then the answer is no. It's like, for the billions of people on the earth, how many people do we have on Earth right now? What's the population? We have 7.8 billion people as of 2021 in the Earth. Population of United States. We have 331.9 million people as of 2021 in the United States, right? Out of those 7.8 billion and those 331 million, how many of those people really matter to me? Maybe about 10 to 20, right? So not everyone, everyone doesn't have to acknowledge your value, right? Your value in the world, in the marketplace, is based on what you bring to the table, what you bring to the world, right? And if you are not bringing stuff that, let me start the clock, right? If you're not bringing anything that is going to, if you're not bringing stuff that people need, right? If there's not a need that you're going to fill, then no one's going to care, right? And you're going to be on your own. Trying to find a balance to do what you like and what is needed, that's something that you have to figure out. But if you think that people are going to conform to give you what you want based on what you like, what makes you feel good, then you are sadly mistaken. And I am sorry that I have to be the one to break the news to you. And I think that's what your mom was trying to tell you when she said, welcome to adulthood, right? Nobody owes you anything. If that's the only thing you ever take from this channel from me, nobody owes you anything, then I've done my job. Nobody owes you anything. No one is responsible for making you happy. You are responsible for your own happiness, right? Not a spouse, not a child, not a mother, not a father, not a grandparent, not a cat, not a dog, Because when you're sleeping, that cat will try to scratch you, right? Nobody owes you anything, right? So that being said, you need to find skills that are marketable and based on your interests, right? Based on your interests. Although you haven't written an essay in the past 5 years, right? But for instance, you are an amazing cook. You love to travel. Although, how do you travel without any money? Anyway, that's a whole other story, right? How do you cook without any money? I don't know. That's not a whole other story. But you can create a channel talking about this stuff if people are willing to follow it, right? Your number one goal in life is finding out where there's a need and providing that need, fulfilling that need, filling up that space, right? In my company, right? There is a need for QA testing and for other stuff, and I try to fill that. I'm saying, okay, where can I go to add value, right? Here on YouTube, there is a need for although there's tons of tech spaces and tech channels and stuff like that, but I'm also filling a need in my own way, and the amazing people who rock with me. Amazing people like Mitch, like Don, like Darcel, like Joseph, like Trey, right? So many people that, like, too many to name, right? Good Guy, for example, right? But you have to fill that need in whatever it is that you're doing. Supply and demand. Do people need what you're offering? And if the answer is no, then you need to offer something better. Simple as that. Capitalism is everywhere. You guys think that, just looking at this company and and they're you practice capitalism because you are trying to add value. You're looking for something to do that you can get paid for. That's adding value. You don't like the medical assistant stuff? Okay, cool. Find something that you can do, right? But one of the ways that I think, right? One of the ways that I think, I don't have the mentality of, I choose what I want to do that's going to provide me enjoyment. No, I find out what's needed and I find a way to enjoy doing those things, right? I have to shift my mindset. I have to shift my mindset to say, okay, what is the need? And now how do I go and find a way to enjoy what I'm doing while I'm fulfilling that need? Here's what I mean by that, right? A lot of people say, and I remember this, right? Someone was in a I think they were in a boot camp or something like that. And they were almost finished with the boot camp for software engineering. And they said, I quit because I found it boring. And I'm like, so if you're actually able to get into the software engineering field, and after a while doing it, you might make 150, something like that. Software engineers get paid pretty well the longer they've been in it. But because it wasn't exciting, you would quit it and then go do what? I don't know, right? The way that I saw it was, if I can be in tech, which a lot of people find boring, a lot of introverted people and stuff, which I'm introverted, believe it or not. But I said, okay, I'm going to make it fun. I'm going to have fun doing it. So I set up little competitions. I'm very competitive, right? So I set up little competitions, how to timers and lights and just have fun with it, right? So that's why we'll drop a. So I move the stuff that is I adapt what's going to help me be successful to match my personality. I don't go searching for something that matches my personality. I adapt my personality to what is going to help me to be more successful. I remember I got a comment on one of the clips that said, this, I love your, they didn't say I love your clip, but they said, we don't you don't need the sound effects. And I was like, thank you. But the sound effects help me. It's not for you, but it's for me. It's for my personality. It's for me to be able to engage and keep going. If you don't like the way that the way that I do it, you can get the same exact content, just in a different delivery by going over to someone like what's my friend's name? The test lead, right? Really cool guy. He's probably going to be releasing a video with a conversation that we had coming up soon. But I said like he has a different style that might be more suitable for you if like the lights and the cameras and the action and like all the theatrics aren't your style, but it's my style and that's what helps me stay engaged. It's like, and the way that you see me here, that's exactly how I work on the job, right? Like the only thing I don't have on the job yet, right, is a soundboard. Yet. All right. that might be coming, all right? So that's how so for you to make it, for you to be an adult, you're going to have to find a way to enjoy whatever it is that's going to be your career, right? So you can end up in a career that like on the surface you don't like, but you can adapt that career to fit your personality and work in the way that you want to work. I'll give a quick example, right? There, like you could, like, for example, your job, right? You can be doing your job and you don't like certain parts of it. Make it a competition, make it a challenge, make it something where you can adapt the things that fill your personality. Write an essay about the things that you're working on, you know? So you just need to figure that part out where whatever you do that's going to take care of you, also adapt it to your personality so that it's not like a foreign person that's doing it and you hate it, but it is you who's doing it, and then you can actually enjoy what you're working on. All right. So, you're going to have to grow up. At the end of the day, you're going to have to grow up. You're going to have to be an adult, but you can have fun being an adult. All right. All right. Mitch said, he quickly answered my question saying that there are 8 billion people. All right. He says, I agree. Cyber, data, software, QA. Yep. So like totally like stuff that we can start introducing our kids to. It says, I worked at a grocery store for 10 years, 14 to 24. Oof, those days were rough. I worked at a when I was living in when I was in college, right? They had just opened, like that's when the neighborhood Walmart started becoming popular. And I was working at a neighborhood Walmart overnight. When they just started getting popular, and then they fired me. But that's a whole other story, right? And then it says, I think the sadness comes from thinking at 22 that will be your life career. Yeah, I mean, and I think that also goes to like not helping our younger people with the right mindset. We just throw them out there, and then it's like they like, oh, this can't be life. Who made that song? This can't be life. I think that was Scarface. Yeah, that was Scarface. It can't be life. It says 8 billion people. Thank you for that, Mitch. Mitch better be in that 20. Yeah, you are in you're in the top 5. You know, you're in the top 5, maybe top 3, because I mean, every time you talk more and more, like you just move up. You might be at number 1 right now. I think I'm gonna make a scoreboard, and I think you're gonna be number 1. You are number 1, Mitch, forever number 1. All right, forever for this term. And this is, I know some software engineers that went to product manager. I could see, and you know, I think a software engineer who goes to a product manager, they might make a pretty good product manager because they have that, they know what goes into engineering, and they're very technical as well, so they're able to navigate that well. And then it says, I never understand that there's so many zeros, a million channels. If you don't like someone, how they do things, go to someone. That's, you know, that's the thing, right? But like, I don't mind the criticism, but it's like some stuff is like cool. Like, I don't know, it's weird. And I got a pension at 24, so you got a pension at 24. That's hilarious. 24. My goodness. 10 years though, that's putting in work. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I've been working since I was like 15. I was working at a park and I worked there till I was like 22, 23, something like that. It says, yeah, the tech, so they understand how long it might take to. Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. Sometimes they switch up on you too, right? Because once they get into that product world, now it's like they forgot everything about being a software engineer. Like, oh, we need this now. We need this now. We need this now. I'm like, hey, you get it. Like, you know that it's not gonna be that fast. Like, come on, put back your software engineering hat. All right. All right. Not even 40 yet. That's hilarious. All right, let's Mish's pension. All right, let's get to our next question. Let's move it along tonight. Too much fun tonight. Too much fun. And I was so tired before we came on, but I'm like, you know what? The show must go on. We're gonna have fun. And you know what, Mitch, you are number one because I would not be able to do this tonight without you. So let me throw out this for Mitch. Right, this is only for Mitch right now.
I appreciate you.
All right. So this question, let's get to our next question. Oh, not that one. What's even on the screen? All right, let's get to our next question.
Another one.
Polite refusal to a counter offer when your current employer is making efforts to retain you. I'm currently resigning from my current job for better compensation, benefits, and career opportunities. My current employer is trying their best to stop me from resigning by trying to give me the same offer to the point that even the vice president of our company is setting up a meeting with me just to present the offer. The problem is it's taking so long for them to present the offer, and I'm about to sign the job offer of the new employer. I also feel that the new employer is much more stable than my current company, although I know I cannot say that to my current employer. Who cares? The base salary for the new employer is 50% more than my current salary. Jeez. So if it's 50% more, let's say you're making 100K, so it's like 150K. That would, yeah, that's what it should be. Part of me also wanted to try a new working environment, even though I didn't have any problems with my current working environment. It's just that I've been with the company long enough and I don't want to be stuck in a box and I want to broaden my horizons. My question is how to politely refuse the counteroffer despite my current employer making such efforts to retain me. And they added an update. I made a mistake by telling them the name of my new employer because now they're just trying to look at the job posting and trying to look for things that might discourage me from signing the offer and told me in a subtle way that they are better. So that's a good question. That's a good question. And you're 100% right. Take the new offer. All right. So 5 minutes up. So, how to politely refuse a counter offer? It's funny. I had to go through that at the job before, not my current job, but before the job before my last job, right? I was getting about 30K more for switching companies. And different benefits, but not that serious, right? They were like pretty much right, like they were right next to each other. So and they were like coming after me to like, hey, like what if we do this? What if we do that? And here's the thing. I never told them how much more money that I was going to be getting because one, I didn't think they would match it anyways, but it's kind of like very similar to the situation you're describing because I didn't feel that they were like in the most stable position either, which is funny because the other company, like the company that I ended up going to, they ended up closing, and that other company is still somewhat like they were sold off a few times, but still like the people are still working there, right? But how do you like? You just have to be firm. There's an idea that you should never accept a counteroffer. I don't know if I agree to that 100%. It depends on the situation. I do think that it sucks that in order to get a promotion or the actual like raise, like a real raise, you have to threaten to leave for them to make you that offer to like, so it's like they show value to you. Like, so it's like they could have always afforded, right? They show value to you when you are on the brink of leaving, which I think that is a totally bad practice that companies do, because they put themselves in a bad spot. Of course, they can find somebody to replace you at some point, but they like I always say, hiring is super expensive, and if you are one of the top level employees, replacing you is very, very hard, right? I don't think like I don't think that I'm replaceable. I think they can have somebody to come and do the job that I do, but they're not going to do it like I do it, and they're not going to have the passion and commitment that I have. So that's why it's always like hard for like when I'm leaving a company and they're like, oh, they want you to stay and stuff like that. But I mean, you just have to put your feet down. I remember when when I was leaving, I said that I ended up speaking to the VP of our department and the chief tech, not the chief, it was the chief architect, then the chief, the CTO, then the VP, no, not the VP, the president, right? Spoke to a bunch of people. And I was like, no, 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 and everything like that. And it's uncomfortable to do it, but you have to set it in your mind before you even hand in your letter, right? Before you even hand in your letter.
Money.
Oh my God. All right, stop the show. Stop the show. Stop the show. We got Mr. Lot with a $20 super chat in the building. Says salute to you, Tech Coach Ralph. Shout out to the engineers and the soon to be engineers. What's up, Mr. Lot? I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. I love the work that you're doing too. I love the work that you're doing. Always trying to catch your videos, always trying to support. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. All right. So let me finish answering the question. Like when we get these surprises, like, oh my goodness. But let me finish answering the question and then we'll talk some more. All right. But yeah, like you just have to be set, because before you even write up your letter, you have to make your decision, right? Are you willing to accept the counter offer? If not, then unless they're offering you like 100% more, then we got to talk about that, right? But a lot of times when you're leaving, you're not leaving because of the money, right? Because like for me at least, I don't even look for jobs or apply for jobs unless there's like I actually have a reason that I'm leaving, and that's when I'm like, okay, I'm leaving because of this reason, so it's a crappy situation to be in. And here's the thing: if you feel that they're really bothering you and stuff like that, then you don't have to stay the whole 2 weeks, right? If you're putting a two week notice that you're going to be leaving, and like you feel like they're making you really uncomfortable, there's no law that says that you have to stay 2 weeks. Some people they put in a week notice. Some people put in some people just leave, right? They'll say like they put a 3-day notice. Just depends on the situation. It's because when they fire you or lay you off, a lot of times, like, I mean, some layoffs, they might give you like, it's a layoff because of company restructuring and stuff like that. So you might get like a month, you might get a few weeks, and then you get laid off. But when they fire you and some layoffs, it's immediate, right? It's like that day of, you're gone. And they don't give you 2 weeks. They don't prep for that. So it's a courtesy that you give 2 weeks when you're leaving, to help them like wrap things up. But if they're making you uncomfortable, I don't think you have to sit there and take it. All right. So that's my thought on that. It's a great question. It's a really tough position to be in. It's super uncomfortable because you say you're leaving and then it's like all these people are chasing after you. Which it's cool because they show that they value you. But if you've made up your mind, and you have to like go and fight to leave, it's tough, right? So I definitely understand what you're coming from, and but you just have to be committed to it, and don't give too much detail. Just say that you're leaving, and you go from there, right? So let's wrap that one up. And let's go back to Mr. Lot. Shout out to you, Mr. Lot. I have to fix something real quick. Let me fix this thing real quick. Let's go to where do we do this real quick? Uh, mm, Let me fix this. All right. Let's try that. All right. One more time for Mr. Lot.
I appreciate
I
you.
appreciate you, Mr. Lot. Like I was saying, right? Mr. Lot is super cool. I love his videos. Definitely go and check out his channel. I'm going to drop a link to his channel in the chat. There we go. Get that. He has some like when I watch the video, I'm like, man, like this is exactly what I was thinking, and such great perspective. I'm gonna drop a link to Mr. Lott's channel. Go ahead and subscribe to his channel. Great mindset, great person. We hang around in the same places, So check out his channel and subscribe to it. You're gonna learn a lot of good stuff, right? So and a very different perspective, very similar to my perspective and how I approach things. So appreciate you, Mr. Lot. So happy for you to be. I'm so happy to have you here and hanging out with me. All right. So we are. Where are we at? We are two more questions to go. Right. So as we move forward, if you haven't done so already, do me a huge favor: like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can know every time that we go live and drop new content. And if you need one-on-one coaching, go over to www.techcoachralph.dev and we can work together for me to help you level up your tech skills and your career. We do some really cool stuff. We have a lot of fun, but we put in the work. Like I said, this past Sunday we had our Scrum night where I am leveling up. I'm helping the tech barbarians level up, working on, in an agile environment using Jira, building an application where that's going to be actual live users. I'm actually in the process of registering a domain name for this sprint so people can access it. So many cool stuff and actually getting to work in a team environment as well. All right. So shout out to the Tech Barbarians. And like I said, if you need one-on-one coaching, go over to www.techcoachralph.dev. All right. So let's jump into our next question. We have two more questions to go for tonight. All right. Let's go to
Another one.
So this person decided to threaten me with a good time. They said 5 questions about Agile. I love Agile, right? So it says, who writes your test plans? Question number 1. Number 2, is the test plan written for every sprint? Or how often is it written? Who writes your test strategy? How often is a test plan written? Who signs off when you write your test cases? Who signs off when the testing phase is complete? All right, so I love these questions, and I am going to answer how I work with my team in getting this done. All right, and Mitch, if you have any insight, anything to offer, do not hesitate to share how you do it as well. Okay, so although you like from working with developers and testers and stuff like that, if you have any insight, please let me know. All right, so let's go. Let's put the 5 minutes up. All right, first question: who writes your test plans? I do. I write the test plans. The QA engineers write the test plans, and sometimes the developers might help out writing a test plan, or if I'm not there, if I'm like on vacation or something or out of the office, and just because QA isn't there doesn't mean the work doesn't go on, right? Just because the developer isn't there doesn't mean the work doesn't go on, right? We still have to get things done. So the developers they write the test plans every once in a while, but mostly it's me writing the test plan. And how do I write the test plan, right? Because although this isn't in the question, but how do I write the test plan? I write the test plan based off the acceptance criteria of the user story that we're working on, right? The user story or the job story. I see, okay, what are the things that the test plan needs to hit? And then, so those are the first things that I go for. Then I say, okay, what are our possible negative scenarios? What are our possible risky things? And what other things are being affected by the work that we're working on, so we can get some regression, stuff like that, right? And we should be checking like the logs to make sure there's no errors in the logs that we're not seeing. That, like, because a lot of times the software might work, but there might be triggering some error that might come and bite us in the future. Okay, so that is so that's that part, right? Now the next question is a test plan written for every sprint? How often is it written, right? So I don't know why you would ask if it's written for every sprint, because the test plan is not sprint related, because a sprint is just a time frame. It's a 2-week time period we're working towards the goal, right? The test plan, we write it per user story, right? Per job story, per user story. That it's necessary, because there's some stories that it doesn't really involve. It doesn't really involve a like testing like that, you know. But if it's development, then we're gonna create a test plan for it, and we are going to so it's written per story, right? And the thing is, our test plans are very short because we're writing it per the story. So we'll have part of the test plan. Okay, let's run the regression test for like whatever regression test that we have. So as soon as the development is done and we are like ready to test it, the very first thing that I'm going to do is trigger off the automated test to run regression to make sure that everything that was running before, like everything that was already built, is still working as expected. And then we're going to start executing the test plan, and also plan for automation for these new features so that we can add that to regression as well. All right. So that's so not for every sprint, but for every story that testing is necessary. And that's how often it's written, right? It's written for every story. Who writes your test strategy? So if we have a test strategy, it's going to be QA, but that's coupled up into the test plan on how we're going to approach testing, how we're going to approach releasing. And that is done by me, and by QA as well, right? At least by the QAs that are on my team. We're responsible for all the things that come from testing. Nobody else, right? How often is the test plan written? That's the same question. It's written for every story, right? And here's the thing which is it's going to get into the next question. Who signs off when you write your test cases? Who signs off is the development team, right? So the way that it works is after and here's a tip that here's a suggestion, right? Start writing your test plans as early as possible, right? Why do I say write as early as possible? I try to catch the developers before they start implementing, so that they can have an idea of what I'm going to be looking for testing, and I can have an idea of what they're going to be looking at as they're implementing. So we can have common understanding. I hate when this happens, right? I have an idea of how we're going to be testing based on the acceptance criteria, and the developers have a way they have an idea of how they're going to implement based on the acceptance criteria, but it's two totally different viewpoints, right? It's like they saw it one way and I saw it another way, and now it's like, okay, we have a gap, and now there might be bugs because we never had that conversation. So I try to have that conversation as early as possible, right? I remember back in the days at a different company, there was so much confusion. Like this one time, the product owner wrote a story, and then we all understood it one particular way, right? But then thinking about it a little more, I'm like, actually, I think it should be like this, right? And then the developers did something totally different than what the product owner wanted, and I understood different from what the product owner and developers wanted. And then the product owner was upset. The developers had to redo the work and stuff like that, and it was a total mess, right? So I always suggest that we have that conversation as early as possible. Who signs up? Whatever the developers who are working on the story sign off on the test plan. I sign off on the test plan. We all sign off on the test plan. We say, okay, this is our approach. This is what we're going to do. Who signs off when the testing phase is complete? I think we all sign off. I mean, primarily it's going to be the I'm going to sign off on it because I have a series of checklists that I'm going to go through. Make sure our automated tests pass. Make sure our logs are clean. Make sure that the new features or that were being tested pass, and then make sure that we have automation for it. If it warrants automation, and that it's added to the like regression test suite, right? And it's running on a regular basis, right? So primarily, I'm the one who's going to be signing off on it, but it's going to come from feedback because we're doing like we're doing code review on the automation on the new automation test as well. So it's a team sign off because they're approving the code for automation, and we have a checklist that's being followed of everything that needs to be tested. So making sure that the test plan is properly executed, right? So hopefully that answers your agile questions in regards to testing and QA. All right. So let's wrap that one up. And Mitch says, you guys don't have business analysts do it too. We don't have business analysts, at least on my team. So on my team, we have a product manager, we have a scrum master, I have 3 developers, 3 engineers, and then I'm QA. And I don't think my company has business analysts. If they do, it's like it's not in tech, we have a product manager at another company. I had an actual product owner, but although it's very similar, there's slight distinction in it. But it's at our company, it's really the product manager brings us like what the need is, and then we figure out how to build it, how to solve the problem. Like, so they'll bring us the problem or the need, and we'll figure out how to do it. And that's pretty much how we work. Because some companies have product owners, managers do the business analyst role as well. Okay, I see what you're saying. I've never like. I have a couple of friends who are business analysts, and the thing is with business analysts, what they do is so close to what QA does, but it's like it's not as much on the testing aspect of it. So yeah, I never really worked much with the business analyst, although I'm pretty familiar with what they do. But yeah, like it's really the team that, like, with Scrum, it's really team based. So we are responsible for the work. We sign off on most of the work that we do. So and then we have here's the thing. I just thought about this, right? Another sign off for the work is the sprint review, right? When you're presenting it to the stakeholders and they're able to ask you questions, give feedback, say, okay, we also need this, we need that. That is a sign off to me, right? So that's another way of getting sign off and getting feedback and stuff like that, to make sure that the work that the team is doing is going in the right direction. So it's that's one of the reasons that I really like Agile. It makes it very dynamic, and it makes the work smaller, so that you can actually get more done instead of like building a whole bunch of stuff, having a whole bunch of test cases, and then you have to go back and you have to make a bunch of changes. All right. So yeah, great question, Mitch, as always. And says, yeah, there's more the business side BA. Yeah, exactly. So cool, awesome. All right, we are down to our last question of the night. It's already 9:30. Jesus Christ. All right. So before we get to the last question, if you haven't done so already, do me a huge favor. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every time that we go live. All right. So with that being said, let's go to our last question.
Another one.
This one says, help. I want to know the core tools and knowledge to start working with software testing. I'm interested in beginning to work with software testing, but I'm in need of some assistance on practicing what is being learned. Some tips or insights will be helpful. So, let's put up 5 minutes. This is similar to the other question that we had, but it is more on overall, what can you do, right? So, the very first thing that I would suggest that you do is the very, very, very first thing is sign up for coaching with Tech Coach Ralph at www.techcoachralph.dev. And then everything else is going to get a lot more streamlined, right? Because we can work together one-on-one, and I can put you on a plan on, I need you to take this course, I need you to take this course. This is the amount of time that you need to dedicate to it. What goals do you have? Okay, what are you going to be working on for this month? Pretty much that's how the coaching plan works, where we are going to meticulously break down, segment everything, and have and we're going to keep track of where you're at on your goals, right? I even on my coaching calls, I even installed a AI note-taking bot so that it can, like, because it's tough for me to take notes while I'm trying to talk to you, right? So I hired a bot, right? I hired an assistant to take notes so that I can review the notes, and then I can see what we talked about last time, and we can go from there. That's a whole nother story, right? But outside of that, I would say you need to number one, get a regular QA course so you can learn all the basics of QA, right? You can also go onto this channel to see my presentations on QA to get a better understanding of all the different types of QA. I had one like maybe 3 weeks ago where I made a presentation on QA. The different types of QA, how to use it practically, what you're gonna need to learn. So that's one thing. The other thing is go to like Udemy or something, right? You don't have to go to pay like $5,000, $7,000, $8,000 for a boot camp to learn how to do manual testing, because it's not gonna pay off. But you need to learn the basics of testing, how to write defects, how to do exploratory testing, how to do smoke testing, how to investigate, how to so there's that. Another thing that I would say is like critical for QA, for people who are interested in testing to learn, is go and take a full stack development course. Right? Why would I say take a full stack development course? Because it is so much easier to test if you understand the technology you're working on. Am I saying that you cannot be a QA tester if you are not a software developer? I'm not saying that. There's plenty of non-technical QAs, but between you and I, whisper voice, they're going to get phased out of the market. They're going to get phased out of the market. The more you know, the more marketable you become. So if you are able to read the code, understand what's going on, like do I understand 100% of what the engineers that I work with are doing and what they're talking about? No, but I try to understand, and I try to be able to read the code. I'm able to write code myself. And it's amazing because like I'll be fascinated by hearing them talk, seeing the different things that they come up with. But then it's also interesting to me because like when I'm doing some QA stuff, some engineering stuff, like from a different perspective, it's like they're also fascinated by the way that I'm able to do it. So it's like we're learning from each other, you know, which is a great feeling, to be honest with you, that we can come together from different backgrounds, and then we can build amazing things together. So that's why I say that you need to actually, like, if you want to be you want to be more than a QA person, more than a software engineer, more than a cybersecurity person, more than a cloud engineer. You want to be a technologist, right? You want to be a professional. So that means that you have to gain skills. And that's why you see me learning Terraform. That's why I'm doing like building websites, building mobile applications. That knowledge it makes me more marketable, right? And that's what I'm trying to convey to you. So learning the basics of testing, learning learning the different, like learning full stack, learning Python, things like that. Because not only learning those things, you're gonna have to use them for automation. Take an automation course, right? Learn how to use Jira. Learn about Agile. Learn how, like one of the courses that I took. I normally don't share the courses that I take, but one of the I have a whole list of different courses that I suggest in the Patreon. But testing in Agile, right? Learning how to test in an Agile environment, very, very important, right? The video I just released earlier, right? The top skill that you need for the top skill that you need as a QA engineer, right? So many, like there's so many different things that you need to becoming an effective to becoming effective, right? It's not just because this is what's gonna happen, right? As Mitch is as Mitch was alluding to earlier, you're gonna find an influencer. They're gonna tell you that you can go from making 40K a year to 400K a year, right? And all you have to do is sign up for this boot camp, and in 6 months, you're gonna be making a bunch of money, right? So you're gonna spend $10,000 on the boot camp to learn how to do manual testing, and then you're gonna go to you're gonna start applying for a bunch of jobs, and you're gonna look for manual testing, and you're gonna see that like all the jobs ask for. So first, you're gonna find out there are no manual testing jobs listed. Then you're going to see that all the QA jobs that you do find, if you end up finding 1 or 2 manual testing jobs, they're going to require 3 to 5 years of experience, right? So now you're going to be even more heartbroken. And you're going to see, okay, and then you're going to see like, they're going to say, okay, you need this type of experience, this experience, this experience. And it's not going to, it's not going to work out for you, right? So realistically, you need to learn these different technologies. And it's honestly, it's like going to, when you go to college and they give you when you go to college, you have like all the general courses and stuff like that. I think that's one of the problems with college, because they make you waste a lot of money on a bunch of courses that you'll probably never really use. Like, I remember when I was in school, I had to take humanities, and I can't remember anything from that. I took sociology. I'm so lucky I didn't have to pay for this for these courses, because it was I don't remember anything from them. It was a total waste of time, right? But if it's like on a plan where, okay, we're taking like the school that you go to, you're taking a course for Jira, you're taking a course for Agile, you're taking a course for Python, you're taking a course for testing, for Selenium, for automation, for Java. And those are the things that they're actually having you learn, and you're actually building stuff of value, right? Then that's going to put you in a much better position. I could construct a curriculum based on existing Udemy courses that will teach you everything that you need to know, but you have to put in the time for it, and then you need to find ways to practically apply it, which is something that I try to do with my tech barbarians and my the coaching group, right? So it's. Let me go back to your question, make sure I'm not missing anything in what you asked, but that's the way that you're gonna and to end it, after you learn these things, and in parallel to learning these things, you should also find a way to team up with someone who's building an app. Maybe it's a very small startup. Maybe it's someone who is taking a software engineering boot camp, and you guys come together and you say, okay, let's build something of value, right? I always say value. Building something of value. That's what's going to make the biggest difference. Oh my, let's shout out to Maurice Brooks. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate you. You are amazing. All right. Okay, let me finish up the question, and then we'll have some more fun. Okay. So yeah, like I said, you have to add value into the world, right? Your parents will find you valuable. your sister, maybe, some sisters, not all sisters, but they might find you valuable. But guess what? You even have to add value to your spouse, right? So you need to find ways to add value, and adding value into the work, they're going to into the world, right? By your work, that's what's going to make that big difference. And I think that teaming up with people who are heading in the same direction that you're heading in, you can actually it'll help propel you to where you want to be, right? That's everything that I've ever done. It's like building real stuff. I remember when I was taking the Python course, I was taking Python, and like at the end, there's 20 projects that you can do that's supposed to help you. I was like, I'm not doing these projects because they didn't add any value to my life. But you see how learning Flutter, I say, oh, I have an app that I want to build. Let me go and learn Flutter, and then I'm able to like get into the App Store and into the like test mode in like 5 days, right? I have an app in the App Store in test mode in like 5 days, right? So looking for things that are actually going to add value to yourself and adding value to the world, that is the goal, that is the key, all right? So let me wrap up that question, and then we'll get to the chat before we wrap up the show for tonight, all right? So let me read Sean first. What's up, Sean? How are you doing? Great to see you again. Sean says, sup? He says, Coach, I'm in an interesting situation right now. Well, Sean, share the situation. Let me know what's going on. And if you don't want to share it on here, feel free to share it on. All right, there you go. All right. Let's say I recently got this job in a different role, but they have a QA department or employees. And I was wondering how I can leverage myself to get into that department. Any tips? Also, I just started this new role as well. So awesome. Every time I talk to Sean, he is winning. And I do have a tip. So let me know real quick, right? What department are you currently working in right now, if you don't mind sharing? And but I think the tip that I'll give you is going to translate regardless, all right? So the first thing I want you to do, Sean, is find somebody who, find who's in QA in that company, right? Find the QA manager, find some QA engineers, whoever, right? He's in the finance. Okay, perfect. Nice. It's the finance sector. Perfect, right? So it's called repayment. Okay, perfect. Right? Not a big deal. So find the QA manager, QA engineers, whatever the case may be, right? And send them an invite on LinkedIn. It's the first step, right? And then you're going to reach out to them on I don't know if you're working like in office, or I don't know how the office situation is, but reach out to them and to the QA manager and to the QA engineers that you connect with, right? Connect with as many of them as possible, and say, hey, I sent you an invite on LinkedIn. I just wanted to connect with you. I've been learning QA for X amount of time, and I just wanted to connect with you guys because I am fascinated by QA and want to learn from as many people as possible, right? That's one aspect of it, right? Now, as some time goes by, as you get good at your job, you can't do this before you get good at your job, right? Because you said you just started, you want to do an amazing job, because this will not work if you are more focused on another department than on doing your actual job, right? So as you get good at your job, always continue to talk to the QA people and stuff like that, but you need to do an amazing job, all right? Now, when you do that, as you get more comfortable in the company and stuff like that, then you start talking more and more to the QA people and say, hey, like, what are some things that you're working on? I'm just curious, like, what are you guys working on? How do you guys work? I'm fascinated by QA. So go with that, right? And then you say, hey, if they're using Scrum, like, hey, do you guys have sprint reviews? if so, if you don't mind, I'd love to come to your sprint reviews just so I can see what the software development team is working on, stuff like that, right? And then they send you the invite, and then you start going to like this. And this happens over time, right? But you can start going to their sprint reviews, and you ask questions in the sprint reviews and stuff like that. They'd be like, "Who the hell are you?" Right? Oh, I'm Sean. I'm a repayment analyst, and I'm just like I'm fascinated by the software engineering and the QA and stuff like that. And me being here is going to help me understand what the company is going to be offering and stuff like that, so I can be more familiar and helping out the people that I work with, right? So it's all about strategy, right? Like I always tell you guys, getting your foot in the door is the key. Okay? So then and then now as time is going by, you say like, and here's the key part, right? You're going to say, so is there let me take this down. It's like, hey, like, is there any way that I could, shadow you guys or help out or something like that, just so I can get a little bit more experience in QA? But you cannot, by any means, let this affect your job, right? As a repayment analyst, when you are on the clock for repayment analyst, you need to be dedicating your time to that, right? So what that means is, excuse me, if you're going to be moonlighting in QA, you're going to either have to do a few hours before you start work or a few hours after work or both, right? Because that's how you're going to gain that experience, and that's how you're going to show them that you are that you want to be part of the team and that you're dedicated, right? And then now once they have an opening, it says, you know what? Sean has helped us out so much. He showed a lot of dedication and commitment. He still does an amazing job as a repayment analyst, but he spends, let's say, an additional 10 hours a week, 15 hours a week, contributing to QA as a repayment analyst, coming to our sprint reviews, asking amazing questions, giving us insights, helping us because as a repayment analyst, you're working with the software, with the product. So if you come across any bugs or anything like that, you can send it over to the QA people, write up the documentation, and say, okay, I came across this. I just wanted to share it with you, blah, blah, blah. And they take it from there, right? So you're putting yourself in the best position to win, right? And that would be my strategy for you to leverage the QA department that you have with you getting, because like I always tell you guys, the most important thing that you guys do is getting your foot in the door. Every single QA person that I come across, right? They don't have the necessary skills yet for like to land that job. Like they might just finish like online course or a boot camp and stuff like that, but they could probably qualify for technical support, help desk, maybe things like that. Something within a company, but they just want to go for QA. They want to go for QA without the necessary experience that we need. The boot camp, the course that you took, great, right? But you need to work your way up. And a lot of times that people just don't want to do it. They go based off the pandemic hiring, which is no longer the case. Or they believe the influencers that they see on YouTube, and then they can't get into it, right? And that's why I'm very strategic with the way that I approach it. And I say that it's going to take you some time, but if you really want to get there, then you're going to have to make the sacrifice, right? But yeah, I mean, that's what I would suggest doing. Get close with the people that you want to work with, and learn from them, add value to them, always add value, and Mitch throws in, and if they don't hire you, you will have the necessary skills for another company. Exactly. Because you best believe that the work that I would be doing, like to learn with them, is going to go on my resume. It's going on my resume. No doubt about it. It's going on my resume, So, yeah, so, I mean, you need to find a way to gain the skills in a real company by any means necessary, So put in the time, put in the work, put in the effort, and you will see, you'll see the fruits of your labor, to put it simple, right? Um, I don't know. Do you have any like? I don't know. Let me know if you have any other questions about that, Sean. I hope that helps though. But and I am super super proud of you as well. You know that is awesome.
We the best.
And Mitch said, you made a good point. A lot of the influencers are going off the 2020, 2020 to 2022 hiring. Um, yeah, they are. And they're also going off like the money that they're making from promoting these industries, right? Like I remember I heard I was talking to somebody somewhere and they said that, oh, they're going for like some Linux type boot camp. And I'm like, how much is it? And they're like $20,000. But they don't have to pay for it because they get some grant from like being in the military or something like that. And they're gonna pay for the whole thing. And I'm like, that boot camp is a genius because they're getting that money from the government, so they can charge as much as they want. You know, it's anyways, whatever. All right, Sean said, thank you, coach. I've thought about some ways as well, but I always love your insight. Awesome. And the day in the life, fill in the blank, showing lavish work life. Exactly. Exactly. Like, I mean, I have fun at work, but that's because I make it fun. So I don't know. And then Mish said, I wanted to go back to this one. He said, 40 to 400K in 2 months. Yo, what I saw, the the titles can be so misleading sometimes, you know. Um, but hey, if you like it, I love it, right? So, anyways, let's wrap up for the night. Anything else before we wrap up? Let's see. Like Sean is like lavish. All right, let's wrap it up for tonight. All right, my goodness, so much fun tonight. And you guys brought my energy back up. So I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. Sean, so good to see you. Keep winning. Keep tap in with me next time again. Let me know how it's going. I'm happy for you that you are getting closer and closer to your goals, and for not having that tunnel vision of like it's either QA or nothing, right? Because a lot of times when they have that mindset, it usually ends up with nothing, and it's like where you could have taken the detour to get yourself in the door and then work your way up. So great job. Always proud of you. Mitch, my number one guy, thank you so much for hanging out with me on this beautiful Tuesday night. And a big shout out again to Mr. Lot for blessing the stream tonight. Shout out to you, Mr. Lot, as always.
I appreciate you.
And Andrew for stopping by. Hope you're feeling better, Drew. As always, hope you're feeling better. And to Darcel, thank you for being here as well, Darcel. It was a great pleasure to talk to you as well. And to wrap it up, Mitch says, if everyone is tired, you can't hold people up when they're feeling drained. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. All right, let's wrap it up. If you haven't done so already, do me a favor, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every time that we go live. Remember, tomorrow we're going to be talking about risk management for GRC, for our software explorations. Also going to be going live tomorrow morning. We're going to be continuing working on Flutter for our mobile app development. We're just doing so many different things, something for everyone, so that we can grow together. You know, we can work together, we can grow together. But like I was saying earlier, I don't believe in collectivism. I believe in you as an individual. So you have to put in the work for yourself, right? And when you actually put in the work for yourself, you can come together with other people who are putting the work in for themselves as well, and you can build great things. And that's the spirit of software development. That's the spirit of Scrum. That's the spirit of Agile. Everybody's working for their own greater good, and they come together like Captain Planet. And when our powers combine, you know, we have great and amazing software. We have a great and amazing team. All right. So that being said, thank you guys so much again for tuning in. To everyone who stopped by, thank you so much. I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. And, go out there and one more message. When you put in the work for yourself, you feel good. Facts. that deserves a
Message.
totally true. All right. All right. Gotta go. Thank you guys so much. Sean, have a great night. Mitch, have a great night. Mr. Lot, thank you again. Darcel, thank you again. You got Captain Planet Classic. Exactly. I used to love Captain Planet. All right. We have to have a Captain Planet watch party. All right. With that being said, I'm out of here. You guys take care. Good night. See you guys tomorrow morning and on Thursday night. All right. You guys take care.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Hear me, warriors of the North. Today we have tasted the sweet nectar of victory. Our foes indeed defeated, and their lands are now bow before us. The gods themselves have favored our glorious deeds on this glorious day. We have shed blood, sweat, and tears to claim this land. Our relentless spirit, our unyielding determination, these are the very essence of our people. The spirit of our ancestors rejoice in the halls of Valhalla. For today, we have added to their eternal glory. Our victories will echo throughout the ages, and our names will be etched in the annals of history. But let us not forget the present pain the brothers and sisters we lost. They now feast in the hall of our forefathers, watching over us with pride. Their sacrifice has paved the way for this moment of triumph. As we celebrate this conquest, let us also remember that our journey is far from over. More land awaits our conquest, more battles call us forth, and the fire in our hearts burn ever brighter, for there is no limit to what we can achieve. To those who dare stand against us, let them tremble in fear, for they shall witness the fury of the northern storm, the wrath of the untamed barbarians. Today we celebrate our victory. Tomorrow, we set our sights on new horizons, a charted land where our banners will fly high. We are Vikings, we're barbarians, we are masters of conquest.